In week 12, a spot in the college football playoffs are on the line, and Texas's chances rest on the shoulders of Arch Manning versus Georgia.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast, your daily podcast covering your favorite draft prospects, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your boy, Damian Parson. I'm an NFL draft analyst with Bleacher Report. That's my guy, Keith Sanchez. He's the director of scouting with the Draft Network and 2019 national champion with the LSU Tigers. And as always, thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout out for being our everydayers. It's week 12 of college football. We're going to preview the action and what prospects need to make a statement heading into week 12 for the 2026 NFL Draft. Offensive guys like Arch Manning, maybe a Trinidad Shambliss. We got defensive statement makers and prospects that need to play well to continue to secure themselves in this draft class. And then the sleeper prospects that you don't know about, we're going to sound the alarm so you can wake up on them. But before we get into all of that, today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Keith, when you think about making a statement, I feel like Arch Manning is probably the first one that would pop up, right? The big game against Georgia. And I think this game is in Georgia, so it's on the road.
Yeah.
He's coming off two really good games, over 300 yards passing. He's protecting the football. He's scoring the football, and he's finding himself and finding that rhythm. And we've talked about it over the last couple of weeks. And, you know, I did a Watch the Tape Wednesday on him probably 2 weeks ago, and I was like, I told everybody, like, hey, he's improving. I'm telling you what the film is showing. He's getting better, and that's a great thing for the draft community. Maybe not this year, right? But heading into this game, Keith, what do we need to see from Arch Manning versus I don't know what to call Georgia's defense this year. Like it's very uneven and inconsistent.
I don't know what to call Georgia team overall, right? Like just usually over the past few years, especially with them being ranked high, you had kind of your, and I'll use the phrase, like your statement makers on both sides of the football, right? Like guys that were like the pillars, right? Like this is the identity of this team, both offensively and defensively this year. It's kind of been like, it's been kind of everybody chip in just a little bit, right? And the pieces, what's the phrase? The sum of the pieces are greater than the whole, or something like that. Philosophical thing I'm trying to get to, DP, but the people understand. But let's get to Arch Manning. Man, what I want to see from Arch, this will be his second huge on the road big time game. He started this season off right at Ohio State, right, against one of the best defenses. Yesterday's podcast, we outlined how we think Sonny Styles and Orville Reese can both go in the top 10, right? And so I look at this, I look at Arch Manning, and this is a checkpoint, in my opinion, DP. Check to see how much better did you get from the first game of the season to going on the 10th 11th game of the season, right? And to see how much better you got. Like how do you handle the pressure, right? You talk about your footwork. Are you still calm? Are you still patient? How are you handling crowd noise? Are you able to make adjustments at the line of scrimmage, throwing the football accurately, right? Just being on the road and having to deal with the environment that is, playing in the SEC on the road, especially a big time stadium, like Georgia. So I'm going to be looking for all of those things, to be completely honest, to be, okay, is this guy turning the corner to be mentally ready for the NFL, right? Because when we talk about physical tools, right, like that's most quarterbacks that enter the NFL, right? You're talking about top 100 picks, they have arm strength, right? Like they can throw the football, but a lot of it's so cerebral and mental that's the part where I like to lean with my quarterbacks, and it's just how they look from a confidence standpoint. So that's what I'm be looking for Arch Manning overall in this game.
Yeah, I think it's just stacking these opportunities, right? If you go out here and throw for 300 plus and You get a big win on the road. Like it's a lot
DP,
riding on this game, man.
yeah, if he does that, go ahead and get the band started for the 2026 NFL draft, right? The conversation is going to come back. I guarantee you. The minute those
100%.
clocks hit 0, it's gonna be back. Is Archman in the number 1 overall pick?
Is he the number 1 overall pick? 100%. I think with his athleticism, with his arm talent, when I watched the tape a couple weeks ago, I told everybody he's anticipating throwing lanes. He's being accurate with the football, all those things. If you can do that on the road, right? Like, Kirby Smart is a great defensive mind as a head coach and a guy who he's going to have his guys galvanized. That defense at home, they're going to be ready to go. And I think let me go back to it real quick. Yes, it's a 7:30 Eastern supposed to be kickoff. So this game's probably going to kick off anywhere between 7:30 and 8 o'clock Eastern time. So it's going to be dark. I tell you right now, the time change, it's pitch black at like 5:30 out here in South Carolina. So Georgia's not
unfortunate.
Yes, it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. So this game is going to be really dark. It's going to be ready to go defensively. Can he handle that opportunity and play well? Keith, I go to another quarterback in this week, and this for me, it's Trinidad Shambliss. Just another opportunity to prove that not only is he a draftable quarterback, Keith, but hey, can he be a top 100 quarterback at this point? This guy's played good ball. We've been talking about him all season, right? Nobody's been giving this young man his credit. We've been speaking on him since he's got the first start. Arkansas. So we've been standing 10 toes down on Trinidad and the way he's played, right? And he played against Georgia. He was good for most of that game. Fourth quarter kind of unraveled, right? You want to see he played good against LSU's defense. And now you're going up against Florida. Now I believe this game is at home, so Florida has to go to Ole Miss. So luckily for you, you don't have to deal with the crowd and all of that. And it's the 7 p.m. Eastern kickoff. I truly believe this young man could be an NFL starter, Keith. I know some people aren't tapped into him yet. I like the arm talent. I love his mobility, but in the quick game, like he gets the ball out of his hands. And I think people look at him and say, oh, he's that dual threat guy. He's going to run the ball. Yeah, he'll do those things. Don't get me wrong. He'll do it, but he can drop back and get the ball out and survey, diagnose, balls out. I think he's a lot better and has more to offer to the NFL than a lot of fans and even some other colleagues in the draft industry are giving them credit for right now. I wouldn't be shocked. We get the draft season where all the tape is being watched and everybody's dialed in, and now people are like, man, hey, this Trinidad Shambliss dude from Ole Miss is pretty good. And I'm like, yeah, the NFL Draft Podcast has been telling you since like week 3. We've been telling you since week 3.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, DP. And he is somebody that collectively, and I say collectively, talking about the entire NFL draft space, should start paying attention to. And I think that will happen. And this is why this is a big statement for him. As long as Ole Miss continues to win, right? And they're in position, right, for, I think, in battles for SEC championship conversation, things like that, it's coming down to the wire. And it looks like it's probably going to be about you have Alabama, Georgia, and Ole Miss has placed themselves right in that mix, right, to have that conversation. So we'll see. DP, I'm going to go with a name that's not even kind of, you're talking about probably taking a meteoric dive. John Mateer. John Mateer. Yeah, and they have a big game. They're playing Alabama. Yeah, they're playing Alabama. And so I want to see where are we going from here? Because to me, in my opinion, we did this with Arch a little right towards the beginning of the season. Like, hey, he probably has to come back. We had the conversation of Cade and Nussmeier saying, I wish y'all could come back. You can't. We did it with Lenore Sellers. Like, hey, you should probably go back to school. John Mateer is about to place himself in making that statement of, hey, like, if you don't finish this strong, then you should probably come back to school. Like the last game against, I think it was Tennessee, I believe he had no touchdowns and 1 interception. I believe it places him for the season, DP, when you're talking about passing touchdowns. He's at 8 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. That isn't going to get you drafted very high, right, to still be in the single digits. And I know he had an injury, but I think it's only a couple weeks. He's played pretty close to, I think, between 8 and 10 games, right? So you're talking about statistically what's going on. And a guy that was riding high and a Heisman favorite, you're talking what, into week 4 maybe? It was
week 4. Yep.
And conversation has totally shifted in a different direction. So I'm gonna be looking at John Mateer to make a statement.
Yeah, like it's just a tale of two seasons for him, man. And you know, for just go through yards. So I'm like yards and touchdowns. Week 1, 389 yards passing, 3 passing touchdowns. We know he ran the ball a lot too. 270 in week 2 against Michigan, 1 passing touchdown. 282 against Temple, 1 passing touchdown. Against Auburn, 268 and a passing touchdown. But again, he has rushing touchdowns too. I don't have the rushing numbers pulled up in front of me.
In that same stretch, real DP, I got you.
Yes.
There's 3. That was 5 rushing touchdowns also.
So 5 rushing, like, you know what I mean? Like 5 rushing touchdowns to 6, along with the 6 passing touchdowns, 6 or 7 passing touchdowns he had. So this dude, and he had like 3 interceptions. So this dude was playing good football. Then he gets hurt, misses 2 games. And I think we came on here and said it. He should not. I know I said it. He should not have came back against Texas. 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, completed less than 53% of his passes. You got to protect yourself. Rushing back did not help his draft stock. It actually hurt his draft stock a lot. He has not been able to find that same balance and confidence playing the way he did at the beginning of the season, the way he has since he got hurt.
Yep, I agree with DP. Let's do this, man. You know we always do. We start off with the offensive statement makers for this upcoming week of college football, and then we flip sides of the football, show the defensive guys some love, and we're going to talk defensive statement makers for this week of college football. We're talking about that coming up next.
This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement of this sports season. Whether you're following the NFL, NBA, or both, there's no better time to jump in on the action. If you haven't tried it yet, PrizePicks is the simplest way to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and if you get them right, you win. It takes less than 60 seconds, less than a minute, to make your lineup, and you can play anywhere PrizePicks operates, including California, Texas, and Georgia. I've been using PrizePicks during the football Sundays and NBA tip-offs. It keeps every game exciting. Download the PrizePicks app today and use the code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup is played. PrizePicks is good to be right. Defensive prospects that need to make a statement in week 12 of college football for the 2026 NFL draft. Keith, I go back to that Oklahoma Alabama game. Alabama is at home. Ty Simpson is a first-round quarterback. Him and Fernando Mendoza battling for QB1. It's R. Mason Thomas, the edge rusher from Oklahoma, 6'2", 250. He's their leading sack artist right now. 5 sacks in the season, 2 QB hits, 18 pressures, a pass rush win rate of 20%, and it goes up on true dropback sets to 34%. He's I can't remember which game it might have been. Oh, Auburn. When he came in, he was suspended the first half, came in the second half off the bench. You could tell he was angry about being suspended for targeting, and he iced the game. You know what I mean? He iced the game with the, I think, sack, and was it sack for a safety or whatever the case may have been at the end of that game to really ice out Auburn. Man, he's going to have a matchup. We're probably going to see a good couple of reps of him, and I hope so. From somebody who, from a film, film watcher myself, Keith, I want to see that matchup of him and Caden Proctor. Because for number one, he's one of those guys. I'll never forget going to Carolina Panthers training camp when Ike Ekwonu first got drafted. And Brian Burns said, what I'm teaching Ike is the power guys you have no problem with. It's guys like me that you have a problem with. Mm-hmm. The fast, the agile, the slick movers, the guys who can string together movements and dip and bend. Well, that's R. Mason Thomas as well. That explosive first step. He can get underneath your hands and underneath your pads. He can work the arc. For Caden Proctor, who's lost weight this season and is playing better ball, can you go out there and be able to play with the right technique, with the right temperament, and with the right mentality against a guy like R. Mason Thomas on those passing downs to keep Ty Simpson upright? We know that Brent Venables is going to dial it up defensively to make him hold the football. Can you give him time? Because if you could give him time in one-on-one, you can slide protection everywhere else. You can double team some guys. The other 4 can handle their business. our Mason Thomas is the guy that can really dictate the action and the pace of how well Ty Simpson can play if he can get around these Alabama tackles.
Yeah, no, I like that call out, DP, because I think that could be very important to pay attention to, right? Like that matchup overall. I'm gonna go to LSU, DP, and I'm gonna go with Howard Perkins. And the reason is being one of the healthy. I wouldn't even put him in the superstar category. I'll just say star, right? Like a known name, right? And you have to play this Arkansas offense, which has put up points, right? And they consistently score points. And the issue is that your offense hasn't put up points. They haven't consistently scored points. So it's a home game. It's an early kickoff, right? Which is, at LSU, deeming that almost disrespectful because we like to play primetime night games, right? So to have an early kickoff, but it's also the current state of the program, right? And are you going to make a statement win and beat Arkansas? And it's going to take some defensive prospects like Mansour Delane, like Howard Perkins, stepping up and making some plays, forcing some turnovers, realizing that, hey, this may be a situation where we have to win the game, right? We have to give our offense a short field. We have to create turnovers. We have to make big time plays, right? And that's why I'm gonna go with the combination of Howard Perkins, Mansour Delane. Y'all are two talented guys, right? Y'all are experienced guys. Make a few plays so then that way you can jump in and help out with your offense to give them short fields.
Yeah, I think with Perkins, especially, and they're playing with Arkansas. You said so.
Yeah,
that's a game where I wonder if they let him spy Taylen Green, because like on third downs, like especially with the secondary, right? With Pickett and Delane, you got AJ Halsey in the back end. Like I like Omega Blake.
Guy to call out too, another veteran. Yep.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I like some of this. I like in Omega Blake, the big, strong receiver that they have over at Arkansas, who transferred from South Carolina to Charlotte to Arkansas. Yeah, I'm picking Mansour to lock that up 1-on-1, right? Like Mansour and picking those DBs, those corners can play man-to-man coverage majority of this game, but you're gonna need your linebackers and maybe a safety to kind of walk down in the box and keep Taylen Green from breaking your hearts with a 30-yard run and scramble on third downs.
Yeah, and DP, I'm gonna jump in there real quick, and to the listeners, right, who haven't really paid much attention to, to Arkansas, like, okay, well, this team, I think they're on a 1, 2, 3, 7 game losing streak. I believe it's a lot of losses I see up here, right? They won their first two. It's a lot of losing that happened. But the issue is this, DP. You look at the points that they scored. They scored 35 against Ole Miss. They scored 31 against Memphis. They scored 31 against Tennessee. They scored 42 against Texas A&M. They scored 35 against Mississippi State, right? So this is a team that they score points. They put up points. You better be able to keep pace in a team who's having quarterback issues and offensive issues, period. You need your defense to step up. Like you need 100%. Your defensive prospects to step up 100%.
No, I'm with you on that. Like the defense just has not helped Taylen Green at all. So he's been having to play Superman. And I think this is a game where like a Perkins and Weeks, if he's healthy and ready to go, those guys, they will be needed to keep him under wraps, Keith. I go to I think South Carolina is who's South Carolina playing? I just had it pulled up. Let me look real quick. South Carolina's playing, and I want to pick Jalon Kilgore, the nickel. He just does everything for them. Like I don't think he does is play at Texas A&M. The only thing Jalon Kilgore doesn't do is play outside corner, right? Like and this is a guy that's again like nickel safety, ball skills. He can run with guys. He can play man coverage, play zone. He's a +1 in the run game. I think going up against this is going to be a nice test for him. When you're facing that type of offense that Texas A&M has, because you think about Mario Craver, who plays a lot in the slot, Casey Concepcion, like who will walk into the slot and things of that nature. But honestly, they run the ball too with whenever Le'Veon Moss is healthy and with Ruben Owens as well. So being like on first and second down, like he's got this is a game where you might see him have to wear so many hats in that secondary, Keith, because you had to key in on the run game with the running backs. Also keying in the run game when you're dropping off in zone in terms of Well, Marcel Reed can get out the pocket, so you don't want to get too far back in your drops, too aggressive as a coverage guy, because then if you are 7 yards upfield, Marcel Reed sees that open, and now he's got 10, 15, maybe 20 yards upfield, right? So then, okay, man-to-man coverage, Craver, Casey Concepcion, the tight end, like whoever they put him on, this could be a statement game for him, and just in terms of proving he's one of the best defensive backs in the entire class. And I like his game. I think day 2 prospect right now. But Keith, who did I'm blanking on his name from Texas that was Jahdae Barron. We saw him go round 1 to the Denver Broncos last year. So I wanted to highlight him. And I got one other guy, Keith. I could have put him in sleep because I don't feel a lot of people know about him. Utah has an edge rusher, John Henry Daly, and he's been one of the most productive edge rushers in college football this season. On the year, he has 10 sacks, 8 QB hits, 2 fumbles forced, and 23 pressures. This dude has been harassing quarterbacks all season long. So I like in this game, like for Utah, like and Utah still, they're playing Baylor. Utah still within range of getting into the CFP, man, and possibly even the Big 12 championship game potentially. Sawyer Robinson will hold the ball, right? And stuff like that to push the ball down the field, try to create some explosive plays. John Henry Daly is not the guy you want to hold the ball long against because he gets back there, and he gets back there a lot. And their offensive line, this is a game, let me tell you, I would not be surprised if he comes out of this game with 3 sacks because Baylor's offensive line isn't good anyway. And if Sawyer's holding the ball and that offensive line is doing what they normally do and not protecting, this could be a career day for John Henry Daly, where he then will splash on the NFL draft landscape where a lot of people don't know enough about him.
Yep. Well, DP, you hinted at it. I think we should go ahead and get active, right? Let's do the sleepers to watch, right? Picking those under the radar prospects for this week of college football games, 2026 NFL draft prospects. Let's talk about them coming up next.
NFL season is in full swing. And honestly, there's nothing better than being in the stadium surrounded by fans cheering on your favorite team. But let's be honest, getting tickets can be a hassle. Between queues, login screens, and prices, jumping at checkout, it's frustrating. That's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by the Game Time guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included. So the price you see is the price you pay. The app made it super simple. I could even see the exact view from my seat before I bought or purchased my tickets. Now go and download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout out for being our everydayers and for being part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. All thanks to you guys for supporting us each and every day, being an everydayers. The alarm clock is going off. You wonder what that noise is. It's because the alarm clock has to go off. It's time to talk about them sleepers, Keith. And, I'm all about I love my running backs, Keith. And there's a guy at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's going on the road to face Florida State. Marcellus Hawkins, 5'11", 220. This young man looks like an NFL running back, and he's a deep sleeper for this running back class. He is physical. He's strong, contact balance. And this is a guy that, to me, Keith, Kyron Drones is a dual threat quarterback who leans more on the dual threat of his game. He runs the ball more than he passes it.
That's a very politically correct way to say that.
I need him to stop doing it and hand the ball off to Marcellus, Keith. Hand it to this 5'11", 220 running back. The game that you gave him, he only has one game, Keith. One game over 15, 2 games, over 15 carries. And the last time he got 15-plus carries was week 9 against Cal, 21 carries, 167 yards rushing. They don't lean on him enough. And I think, and especially in this running back class, when you look at the potential prospects, a lot of these guys at running back look the same outside of like maybe Jeremiah Love. Like all of them are around 5'10", 5'9" to 5'11", like 205 to 210. They all have that kind of Ray Rice type of build in the sense that short bowling ball frame. the class doesn't have the Damian Martinez's, the Zach Charbonnet's. They don't have a ton of those guys, those big burly backs. Your boy Ollie Gordon. They don't have a lot of those backs in this class right now. I feel like most of them went into last year's class. So I think for Marcellus against a physical front that Florida State has, this could be a statement game. I think they need to lean on him, create some RPO opportunities, some deep shot opportunities to let Kyron Jones push the ball down the field. I don't want to see 21 carries from Kyron Jones. I want to see 21 to 25 carries from Marcellus Hawkins, guys. 5'11", 210, 219. I'm sorry, 219, 220 from Virginia Tech. Young man can play. He just doesn't get enough opportunities.
Yeah, DP, I may switch it up a little bit because this isn't an under the radar guy, but this is a situation that I'll be watching, and that's Cassius Howell, edge rusher, right, from Texas A&M. I want to watch him against South Carolina, and it's coming off our conversation that we had. That was yesterday's podcast, right? When we talked about just, Orville Reese's elevation, right? And then kind of the Ruben Bain conversation and, where the other edge rushers. Cassius Howell's another one of those guys whose draft stock, in my opinion, for me, has elevated significantly, right? And could potentially put himself inside of the top 10. The way I look at it, DP, I'm looking at it from like a arms race standpoint, right? Like who is going to be that guy? And he's at double-digit sacks. I think he is at 10.5 already. Like, could this be a situation? And we know that Lenore Sellers, he will hold on to the football from time to time. He will scramble around, right? Like I want to see him chase a good athlete, right? And see what that looks like, change of direction, things like that. Can you walk out of here with another sack and a half? You're looking at 12 on the season with a couple more games to go, regular season games, let alone I didn't mention them when we talked about the SEC championship stuff, TB, because Texas A&M is right in the mix, right? So you can potentially have a SEC championship game plus playoffs. Like, could this be a 15 to 18 sack season for Cassius Howell? I think it's going to be really fun to watch. Just watch this elevation and growth of this young man. So I'm definitely going to be watching. I think it's an early slate game, so 11 o'clock Central game. I'm going to be watching because I want to see this guy get after it.
100%. I think this is probably his most difficult tracking test because I don't think he's played an athlete. Now, granted, play for Texas A&M, you deal with Marcel Reed in practice. So,
you see him.
You know what I mean? But the difference is, Lenore's to throw guys off of him. So you got to make sure you secure him and bring him to the ground because if not, he can power through some of those arm tackles and different things like that. So definitely a guy, a situation would be fun to watch how he handles it. Like, does it change up how aggressive he is as a rusher, right? Like, does it change his mentality as a rusher, knowing that you got a guy that can break, contain, and cause those issues? Because a dude like Lenore and his rushing ability, whether it's speed, power, agility, whatever, he's a hard guy to defend in the pocket. So you got to make sure you're disciplined in your rush path. Don't get too aggressive. Don't get, undisciplined. Because if you take an inside track, you're supposed to be outside, he's going to hit the outside. And now you put your corners and linebackers in some conflicting situations, Keith. My last guy is, and especially in this edge rush group, it's Mitchell Melton. This is an Ohio State transfer to Virginia. And I kind of understand why Ohio State has so many defensive linemen and edge rushers. But this guy's 4 sacks in the season for Virginia, 5 QB hits, 2 fumbles forced, and 30 pressures. He gets after it. He gets after the quarterback. He's twitchy. Like, he's very twitchy. And I love the pad level he plays with too, because like when they do some of the stunts where he's the looper inside, you see him keep his pad level low, and he is be able to just flip his hips and turn, and now he's in the face of the quarterback. Great closing burst and speed and everything. And they're playing, I think Virginia's playing Duke. And this is a game, yes, they're on the road. They're facing Duke at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. Darian Mensah. I think he turned the ball over a couple times against UConn. I think 3 times.
I think he had 3 interceptions, I believe.
Yeah, 3 picks in that game. So right. We just said, hey, you should go to the draft. And he's like, well, let me show you why I didn't go back to school. No, like, you still probably should go to the draft. But I think for him, he's going to want to come out and get that taste out of his mouth. Like, I made some bad plays last week. Yeah, let's go. I'm at home, my home crowd. Let's go out here and ball. Well, Mitchell Melton. I don't need to figure out. Is he kin of like Bo Melton and all? I need to figure that out. Because it's that name, like he might be a cousin or something. But I think for Mitchell and his speed, his athleticism, his agility, the twitchiness, yeah, this is a guy that can wreck the game for Duke and get after Damian Mensah, get him off schedule, hit him early, make him feel and hear footsteps even when they aren't there. You got to get to Damian Mensah early, get his mechanics and his base off track, and have him throwing from unsettled pockets and stuff like that. That's how you force 3 turnovers from a Damian Mensah. You got to get back there to him. And again, in this edge class, we got so many guys at the top. People aren't talking about the second tier, third tier, and those guys like that. I think Mitchell Melton could be somebody that could be a rising once we get to draft season.
Yeah, no, I like that. With DP, that wraps up another episode, man, of the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast. I want to end this podcast off by saying shout out to our everydayers. Thank you for tapping in with us each and every single day. I am Keith Sanchez. You can find me on X at The Talent Code. That right there is my guy, my co-host, Mr. Damian Parson. You can find him on X at DP_NFL. And like we like to say, man, y'all come talk to us because we like to talk back.
Go subscribe and follow for free on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts, to get the latest episode as soon as it is available. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout out for being our everydayers. Coming up on Monday, after we have to recap the action of Week 12, we're going to talk about the money makers, stock up, the bag fumbler, stock down, and handing out our coach balls for the game balls. I'm sorry, Coach DP, Coach K will handle the game ball for Week 12 of college football for the NFL draft. So come and join the conversation again tomorrow on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.